And today we are going to introduce the idea of gratitude in your movement practice. So in the ways in which you move. And sometimes it can be hard to find gratitude, especially if you're having a day when it's hard to move or it just doesn't feel good to move. And that's why it's important to move in mindful, slow ways that can help to energetically open your heart. So your heart in yoga is your heart space, kind of the center of your chest. Now we know this is not where our heart is located, but in yoga, we think of this space as the heart space. So that's the yoga side of it. But the functional side of it is to be able to bring some mobility and some flexibility into the area where the heart resides, which in this case is the thoracic spine. Now, again, we know our heart isn't part of our thoracic spine, but when we move into these thoracic spine twists, it helps us to kind of open up through fascia around the heart. And we know fascia is that connective tissue that runs all through our body. It connects everything. So we'll work on that. We'll do a lot of this thoracic spine twisting. The other reason why I like this thoracic spine work is because when we twist rotationally, we work our obliques. And there's been a lot of research recently into the real role of the obliques in core strength. When we think of our core, we used to just think of our abdominals. Now we know that it's from our neck to our hips. When you move in a rotation, your obliques are engaged and they attach to the pelvis on each side, but they also are connected to the multifidi, so these low back muscles on either side of your lumbar spine. And if you put your fingers there and you just kind of move back and forth, you'll feel something like tension and then loosen, and those are those multifidus muscles on each side. Engaging those muscles, working to strengthen them and to bring mobility helps with low back pain. And low back pain is the #1 complaint of my yoga students. So that's kind of an overview of what we're going to be working on. We'll begin by finding a chair that is comfortable for you. Ideally, it would be a chair with no arms. But if your chair has arms, we can work around that. If you have a yoga block, go ahead and grab it. You don't need it. If you have a small pillow, then go ahead and make sure that that is available to you as well. Again, if you don't have it, it's not going to impact your ability to do any of these poses. So let's begin. And we will move to our chair. So I'm going to move this out of the way. This is my yoga block. I'm just going to keep it handy. When we think about gratitude, especially this time of year, it's the beginning of October and your social media feed might be filled with Thanksgiving things and how to be grateful. And that can be an overused term. What I try to do in my practices is to find gratefulness through a sense of awe, A-W-E, awe. Those little moments in your day that hit you out of the blue that you're not expecting, you're not prepared for, but they stop you in your tracks and make you feel something warm, something good, something where you can bask in that glowy feeling. So it might be something as simple as, geese flying overhead or, a beautiful red leaf falling, but anything throughout your day that provides that sense of awe is linked to gratitude. And I think that's way easier than trying to write down a gratitude list, what you're thankful for. And it just becomes a laundry list of things, which is not like it's unimportant, but we're looking for those tiny moments throughout the day that provide that beautiful surprise that we weren't expecting. So as we go through this yoga practice, be aware of anything at all that might happen, that might come across your path while you're practicing. And if you find that sense of awe, hang on to it for just a bit. You can even stop what you're doing in the middle of a pose just to let that sink in. We will begin with a little bit of breath work. And we're going to use just a simple in through your nose, out through your mouth. But when you breathe out through your mouth, you make a shush sound. So it sounds like breathing in, exhaling, shh. So like you're shushing somebody. And what that does, that shushing sound activates your diaphragm. So if for some reason you weren't using your diaphragm to breathe and everything was coming from the top of your chest, shushing will ensure that your diaphragm, which is our primary breathing muscle, is doing the work of breath. So get comfortable in your chair. You can lift up one leg and turn whatever flesh is there out to the side. Same thing with the other leg. Just get it out of the way. This gives you a little bit of a wider seat. Feel your sitting bones against the seat of your chair. And you can keep your eyes open or you could close your eyes, whatever feels best to you. But take a breath in here, just a regular old breath in through your nose, and let it go out your nose. And just do that a few times, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Let everything settle around you. Any noise that's going on, maybe you can hear traffic or the washing machine or your heater kind of gurgling. Allow those distractions to just be, but they don't have to interfere with where you are in this quiet space. Noises are allowed to sit alongside your own stillness. So breathe in, out through your nose again. And the next time you breathe in, we're going to shush it out. So breathe in and let it go. Shh. Shush, so there's no more air left, and you might feel your belly pulling in. Breathe in. Let that belly expand with your inhale. Let it go. Shh. Breathe in. When you're ready, let it go. Shh. And keep going. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling with a shush, exhaling all of the air out. And do it at your own pace. So I'm not going to say breathe in and exhale anymore. Do it whenever it feels good to you. So take your breath in, and when it feels right to exhale, exhale. When all of the breath is gone, take your breath in. Everyone's breath is going to be different. So to try to match yours to someone else's isn't going to attain your perfect breath. Shh. 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 When you're ready, let your breath return back to its normal state, in through your nose, out through your nose. If you'd like to take a moment here to set an intention for your practice, then go ahead, you can do that now. Your eyes might be closed. Whether they're closed or not, drop your chin down to your chest. Just feel that little stretch behind your neck, the very back of your neck, and let your head get heavy. On your next inhale, lift your chin, center your head. If you have a block, then go ahead and grab it and place it in front of you. And we're going to shift our seat towards the front of your chair. So you can either put both hands and scoot up, or move one hip forward, doesn't matter which one, and then the other, and shimmy to the front of your chair. Go as far front as feels comfortable for you, and then go back. Shimmy one hip back and then the other, and just move front to back, finding some mobility in your hips. And you can use your hands on the chair as well. You're engaging your core while you're doing this. You might feel your breath in a different way. You'll feel how your breath moves when you're working. And the next time you're moving towards the front of the chair, we'll stay there. So as I said, we don't move so far front that we feel like we're going to tip off the chair, but extend your legs and bring your feet up. Now, if you have a block, you can put it down and squeeze the block with your feet. Keep bringing the toes up towards the ceiling, maybe pulling them back towards your shins, but don't worry if that doesn't happen. If that is something that is presenting itself as difficult today, imagine that you're doing the action, because just imagining it will set up this neuroplasticity in your brain, where your brain believes what you tell it. Your brain believes what you think. And if you think that your feet are pulling way back towards your shins, your brain will find a way to make that happen by making a new pathway. Maybe it's not the pathway today, but over time, it will build a new pathway and you will be able to lift your toes a little bit more. This is staff pose. Sit up as nice and tall as you can. Your legs are extended. If you have a block, squeeze the block, and then you can let your arms come down. You can grab the sides of the chair, or you can bend your arms and bring the palms of your hands by your hips. This is one of the most foundational poses of yoga. It's one of the original poses meant to prepare the body for sitting for a very long time in meditation. This requires some strength in the hip flexors. Your hamstrings will be engaged, and you'll feel your core as well respond. And breathe. Sometimes when we're doing a yoga pose, we forget to breathe. So take a breath, let it go. And all sorts of things working here. Feet, hamstrings, hip flexors, and core. Let that go, and I'm going to move my block out of the way. And bring your feet in slightly. They're not right under your knees, are not right under your feet. Your feet are out a little bit. So I'll turn a little bit sideways so you can see me. So we're still sitting nice and tall, and we're going to roll down. So with your head nice and straight, just draw your chin back like you're trying to give yourself a double chin, and then let that chin drop to your chest and continue to roll down. Let your spine round. Your tail will tuck. Go as far as feels sensible. And then roll back up. So we're just curving our spine and then bringing it back straight. Imagine that each vertebrae, we'll do it again, pull the chin back, roll down, chin to chest. Imagine each vertebra of your spine releasing. Your tail will naturally tuck. And then come back up. Imagine each vertebra stacking one on top of the other. Again, pull the chin back, roll down. We are preparing the spine for the rotations we'll be doing. When you're ready, come up. And then separate your feet a little bit wider. I'll stay turned to the side a little so you can see me. So your feet are nice and wide, wider than your hips. And instead of rolling down, we're going to hinge forward. So put your fingers, maybe your peace sign fingers or all of your fingers, into where the hip and thigh meet. And then with a flat back, lean forward. So if you find that your back starts to round, maybe here, you've gone too far. Go only as far as you can maintain a flat back. So here are two different ways to fold forward, either with a rounded back, where you incrementally roll down, or with a flat back. We're building some strength in our hip flexors. Imagine that you're sending your sitting bones to the back of your chair. And continue. Hinging forward. While we're here, hinge forward and extend one arm. Maybe extend the other for chair pose. Press your feet down. Squeeze your feet together. They won't go anywhere, but you'll be pulling your legs together. Breathe in. Breathe out one. Breathe in. Breathe out two. Breathe in. Breathe out three. Let your arms drop down. You can hold onto the chair or not, and then hinge back up. Nice flat back. Awesome. From here, let's do a cat-cow. So we're trying to build or stack these spinal movements on top of each other before we start to rotate. Cat-cow. Tuck your tail, round your spine towards the back of the chair. Let your chin drop down. So here we are in cat. Moving into cow, roll forward on your sitting bones. Press your belly, your hip bones, your chest, everything forward. Squeeze the shoulders back, look up slightly. And then go in between cat and cow, back and forth. Maybe take notice of how your spine feels now, as opposed to how it felt when we first began. Maybe you feel some difference, maybe you don't. And then come back to center. And let's just reset our spine by taking a little bit of a tiny little sway from side to side. So it's just your spine kind of moving, you know, like a blade of grass in a gentle breeze. and then come back to center. Find yourself in the middle of your chair. So if your seat has shifted, go ahead and get back to center. And if you'd like to move any flesh out of the way, go ahead and do that. So we're sitting in the center of our chair. Feet can be about hip distance apart. We're going to move into a twist. So bring your hands together at heart center. Elbows can be out or down, doesn't matter, but push your hands together. And you're going to feel that in these pectoral muscles, but push the hands together. Take a breath. And as you exhale, while you're pushing your hands, turn to the right. And let your body be the driver. So don't force anything. Go just as far as your body takes you. Inhale, come back to center. Keep pushing your hands, and as you exhale, over to the left this time. We're going to continue to do this from right to left. So on the inhale, spin back to center, and as you exhale, twist. Inhale back to center, and exhale, twist. Inhale to center, exhale, twist. Inhale, center, and exhale, twist. Inhale, come back to center, and release your hands. Maybe give them a little shake if they've been really pushing together and they might feel a little tingly. Grab onto the side of your chair and bring the left arm out, flip the palm up, bring it all the way up and over. Keep the sitting bones on the chair, but reach with that left arm. It can be behind your head, shoulder, hip, wherever it feels good. And maybe if you feel that you have some mobility in your neck, turn to look underneath that arm. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Last breath here. Breathe out 3. If you're looking under your arm, bring your head back to center and then carefully come all the way back up. The left arm comes down, the right arm comes out, flip the palm, lift the arm up and send the right hand towards the left. Sitting bones stay on the chair. So if you look like this, you've gone too far. And press. Hand can be wherever it makes sense for you. Maybe look underneath that arm. Can you feel your feet? If not, press them into the mat or the rug. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Let's say your head is turned, and if so, bring it back to center, looking forward, and slowly come all the way back up. We don't come up slowly because this is a gentle class. We come up slowly because it takes more strength to slowly get yourself back to center than to just use momentum to kind of whip yourself back to center. Let's take a moment here to do another shushing breath. In through your nose, out with a shush. Shh. Breathe in. Shush. Shh. One more, your own pace, your own time. Shh. And then let's move on. Scoot back towards the front of the chair, but not right on the tip of it. Take your left foot and turn it out to the side. So your right toes are facing forward. Your left foot is turned out to the side. And if you have a block, you can place it on either the inside or the outside of that leg. Then you can try the inside, and if that doesn't work, you can move it to the outside. We're going to begin our journey of rotational thoracic spine twisting. So from here, check your feet. Right toes pointing forward, left toes pointing out towards the side. Spin slightly so that you're looking at the right knee. Hinge from the hips so you have a nice flat back. That's where this comes in. And then reach. Come back up, spin back to center. Turn towards that right knee, hinge from the hips, reach, and come back to center. Let's do a few more of those. Remembering to spin first, so we're not folding forward, we're folding at a diagonal, reaching, and then we'll add on. Turn to look at that knee, hinge from the hips, reach, and maybe come down and tap the block. Bring the arm up and over into like a goal post, a half a goal post. Reach and up and over. So maybe this is too close. Maybe you want it on the outside. Spin towards that knee, hinge, reach, tap, come all the way back up and over. And continue. This is really a great series of movements to do for low back issues. If your low back feels tight, sometimes at the end of the day or in the beginning of the day, and our arm is moving in this way to help to release the fascia in our shoulders, our chest, that heart space. The next time your arm comes like this, maybe bring it back a little bit, and you can even turn to look over to the left. So there's a lot going on here. Spin towards that right knee, reach, tap, come up, arm comes up and over, bend the elbow, and then spin over towards the left and bring the arm back as far as you can. And if that feels like a lot, just do part of what feels good, part of what feels accessible, attainable, sensible for your body today. And this hand can be anywhere. You can hang onto the side of the chair. Let's do one more. And then when we come back, keep this arm bent and maybe bring the elbow to the knee or put a block on your knee. Hands together, come in prayer. So if the block is on your knee, it's gonna wobble, that's okay. And maybe twist a little bit more. Find that rotational twist in your thoracic spine. And settle here for a few moments. If this doesn't work, put your forearm down and twist. Find a shape that works for you. Can you feel your feet? Are you aware of what they're doing? Press down. And when you're ready, unspool yourself. Left toes come to point forward, the right toes this time point out to the side, any amount. Put your block down. You know, each side is different. So if you used your block in a certain place on one side, doesn't mean that the other side is going to be where you want it. Let's begin. Spin slightly to face the right knee, or left knee, sorry, this time, and fold forward, come back up, and then come back to center. So this slight turn, hinge, come back up. It's this tiny little twist that has everything to do, not only with building the muscles in your obliques and your low back, but with bringing some freedom to your heart, energetically speaking. We're going to add the arm, reach, and come back up. Turn, hinge, reach, and come back up. Maybe try to make it a fluid movement. And then the next time, we will reach, tap the block. Reach and tap. Does the block feel good? If not, put it on the other side. If it doesn't feel good at all, don't use it. And if you don't have a block, then you don't have to worry about that. Just reach down either on the inside or the outside of your leg. Let's think about that fascia on the right side. Bring the arm up, bend the elbow. Imagine all of that fascia that surrounds your shoulders and your chest be expanding to allow more room for compassion, for gratitude, for that sense of awe. Bring the arm up this time and then press it back and turn slightly to the right. Spin to center, look towards the left. Reach, tap, up, and over. So a lot of small parts that make up one whole movement. You can also do this standing up in the exact same way that we're doing now, but you're standing. Pay attention to where it feels good to inhale and where it feels good to exhale. Your body knows how to breathe. And remember, this hand can be wherever it wants to be. I keep tucking it in my hip flexor, but you can go anywhere. So we're going to do one more of these. And then when we come back, that arm stays bent. Bring it forward and maybe tap down on the knee or use your block or a pillow or whatever you have to put it underneath, or bring your forearm down. Hands come together and twist a little bit more. Here's our deepest twist that we've done today so far. And continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Imagine that sense of openness in your heart. What stopped you in your tracks today in a good way? And take that memory and save it. Maybe lock it inside your rib cage. On your next inhale, unspool yourself. We're going to move our block out of the way. Move so that this right foot travels to the right side of your chair, and then turn to face that knee. So you can stay here. You can use your block to put your foot on, or you can step your leg back. It's up to you. If this feels like too deep of a stretch, bring the knee down. Also, the knee could go on the block. So, the height of the block is determined by the length of your legs, not how good you are at yoga. Warrior one, let's take a breath in, reach both arms forward. If that feels okay, reach both arms up. If not, keep them down, but reach them up, and then these goalpost arms come back down. If your arms are forward, just bring them down and up. But if you can squeeze the shoulders back, start to think about pressing your heart space forward slightly. So there's a slight back bend. The next time your arms are up, stay there and squeeze them back together. Take a breath, press your feet down. When you're ready, let that breath go, and then continue in through your nose, out through your nose at your own pace. Release your hands behind your back. Clasp your hands. Squeeze the shoulders, and maybe lift up through your heart a little bit more. You can hold on to the chair to help you along. Slight back bend. Let that go by bringing your spine back up and move back towards the middle of your chair, moving into goddess. We'll just stay here for a few moments. Hands come out to your knees. Hinge from the hips and bring your right shoulder towards the center of the chair. Look over to the left. Hinge from the hips, come back up. Left shoulder comes down. Notice how this feels in your shoulder, but also in your back. Come all the way back up, and we'll move into warrior one on the other side. So our left knee is nearly there. Lift your hips and shift. So we're looking off towards the left. You used the block before for either your toe or your shin, or maybe you stepped back. Take some time to get comfortable. There's no race. When you're ready, lift one arm, maybe both. Maybe you lift both of them up, and then elbows bend into goalposts. Arms come down and then up and over. Inhaling when it feels good to inhale, and exhaling when it feels good to exhale. Play around with it. Find what feels good to you. We usually exhale at the most exerting point. So wherever it feels like work is when we exhale. Usually. And then the next time the arms come up and over, leave them there, squeeze them back, lift your heart just slightly. You can stay here, or you can bring your hands behind your back, clasp them if possible, or just grab onto your wrist or something. And lift slightly more. And breathe. Press your feet down. Letting that go, release your hands. You can bring them back to the chair, straighten your spine, come back to center. If you've got a block, go ahead and use it. If you've got rungs on your chair, you can use those as well. So I'll show both ways. So scoot a little bit more towards the front of your chair. Hinge from the hips, you can stay here. Or you can grab onto the rung of a chair or a block and take a twist. This arm can come up in the air or on your hip. Doesn't really matter where your arm is. We're thinking about the rotation of the rib cage. Look down if that's better for your neck. And if you find that you are squeezing your toes, let them go. Come back. Place the hand on the block or the rung of your chair. And other side. If your chair has no rungs, you can use the leg of the chair or the seat. Just notice how your breath is here. Your breath doesn't always have to be full. When you're in a twisting pose, a lot of times it won't be. But when you're ready, release. Come all the way up, toe heel your feet together, about hip distance, and bring both forearms right down to your thighs. Take your right hand, slide it underneath the left arm. Keep sliding it until it feels good, until you've gone as far as you can go. And look over towards the left. This hand can drop. Pull that arm back. Place that right forearm on top of your thigh. Take the left arm, thread it underneath, and keep pushing until your body says, I've gone far enough. If you're holding this right fist or wrist tight, let it drop. Look towards the right if possible and breathe. Pull that hand back. And from here, just move into a couple of cat-cows in this position. So you'll notice it's really just your mid-back and your neck that's moving. And then walk your hands up. I'm going to move diagonally again so you can see, but you can stay where you are. But shimmy towards the edge of your chair. Find the back of your chair. And sit up nice and tall. Squeeze the shoulders back. Press your feet down. If you have your block, you can put your block between your feet and press your ribs forward as you lift your heart, looking up towards the ceiling or forward, but avoiding tipping your head. We don't want to strain our neck, but keep pressing your rib cage and your heart forward, squeezing your shoulders back. For fish pose, maybe extend one leg and then the other. Does your neck feel comfortable? If not, move it. Bend the elbows slightly, pull the feet back, and bring your hands back to anywhere along your thighs. And go ahead and grab your pillow if you have one. And we're going to place it just right on top of our lap. So that probably felt like a lot of work, especially for the middle body. We're going to breathe with our pillow to help bring some space into the areas that we just worked. And why do we use a pillow? Well, when we use a pillow, our belly can only go so far because the pillow's in the way. So our breath will be more likely to move into the side ribs and your back. And this can help with any sort of back issues, but it can also help to give this really expansive feeling in your middle body, in the heart space. If you're seeking a way to be more grateful, begin with your breath. This breath that is bestowed on us. Let's use it to find space. So, pillow, and if you don't have a pillow, that's fine. You can just lean forward. But if you've got a pillow, lean forward and move on your chair wherever it feels good. That's going to be different for everybody. And it might take a little bit of time to get the pillow where it feels good. Drape yourself over it. And let your arms just dangle. Your head, can be a neutral neck with your looking at the floor, or you can let it go. But begin to breathe in through your nose, and you may notice that the belly can only expand so much before the pillow stops it, and you feel your breath going into the side ribs and maybe into the back. So you might have this circular feeling to your breath. We'll stay here. Continue in this way. If you have a pillow and 5 minutes, this can be a restorative action, either at the beginning or the end of the day, that aligns yourself with gratitude. Taking some few minutes, a few moments, focusing on your breath. The way it moves and expands in this middle part of your body, with so much going on in the middle part of your body, all of these internal organs, not to mention this beating muscle of your heart, this organ that keeps us alive. Taking this breath as your own. Taking this breath as your time. And if you can find that sense of expansiveness in your breath, in your ribs, in your back, how might you then take that outside of yourself? What else might you be able to expand? Your capacity for love, for communication, your expansiveness, and your capacity to heal yourself or others. You can stay here as long as you like. Maybe you set an intention for your practice, and if so, you can recall that now. And if you're ready to end your practice, walk your hands up your legs. You can keep the pillow on your lap if you'd like. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart, or you can have palms up on your lap, whatever feels better. And we'll end this practice with a quote from Julia of Norwich. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and every manner of thing shall be well. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me today.